Hello guys and welcome. Shut up. So, as per someone's request on Discord, I am doing the Lmg tier list. Starting with the EM1. It's the 659 143 damage Lmg for the new conglomerate. I think it's it's alright. It's definitely like it really like fades away, or like is not really like all other NC LMGs, but it's still alright. Although it deserves a C tier. It's accurate, it's good, but damage output is low. It's good if you can chain headshots, but if you can chain headshots, you're just better off with literally any other weapon on this list. Kinda. The EM6 is the 600 167 damage LMG, very good damage model. The Mercenary, the Gauss Rifle has the same damage model. This one is it's very good on an LMG because you have a large mag, 3 headshot kill. It's very good. I'd place it on B. It's definitely much better than the EM1, but it's I think you could argue it's A tier as well because the damage model is so good. Well put in B. The Flare is a 577 143 no 167 damage LMG. It's basically a bit worse than the EM6 damage output wise. However, it has very good recoil and good muzzle velocity, which means you can fucking snipe people. So I think that kinda it doesn't really make up for the loss in damage output, but it's still like, it's still B tier. I would not like put it in C along with the EM1. The GD22 is the exact same damage model as the Flare. It's just tuned for a bit more tuned for closer range. It has a faster reload, smaller mag. You can, if you put laser and short barrel, it becomes basically a budget anchor. It's B tier. It's basically the Flare but tuned for CQC. So, and it's the starter for the NC. It was the Gauss Saw before, but then the devs actually pulled their whole fist from their ass and realized that the Gauss Saw wouldn't be a good beginner weapon for blueberries. So the anchor is S tier. I know I'll get a lot of shit if I don't put it in S tier. I've got a couple of kills with it. I personally don't like it. It's my TR bias. I'd put it in A. It's too shaky for me, but it's good. It's still very good. It's 600 167. Very good if you can chain headshots. It competes with the MSWR, but the thing is, the anchor has it's better if you can chain headshots, and it's easier to chain headshot as well with the anchor because of the recoil. Also, it has more damage per magazine because 50 rounds of 167 is better than 50 rounds of 143. Very good gun. One of the meta LMGs in this game. The Watchman is I believe it's 857 125. This will go into S tier actually. I know I'll get a lot of shit for this. However, just let me explain. The 125 damage model is kind of interesting because, as you all know, inside 10 meters, if you hit all headshots, it's a 4 headshot kill, just like the MSWR, for example. Now, the thing is, the Watchman kills a lot faster if you only chain headshots, because it's 857 instead of 750, which means if you can chain headshots and keep your engagements in close range, which you should, and with the 125 damage recoil, which is basically non-existent on the Watchman, it's fucked. It's disgusting actually. It's very, very good. It does become kind of a pea shooter if you can't hit heads at long range. But still. Now keep in mind, this is the ranking for if you like know how to play the game. Like, a fresh TR player that spends his first 1,000 stars on a Watchman would be better off with a Carve, of course. But like if you're a good player and can hit heads, the Watchman is definitely S tier. It's very slept upon. Before you give me shit, just go ahead and try it and shut up. I don't care. The Promise is a noob gun. It's 698, 143. It's a okay damage. It has very good recoil, a very weird recoil as well, and just it's gimmicky. It looks cool as shit though. I'd actually, yeah, it deserves its spot in B actually. It's pretty good. It's definitely better than the EM1, for sure. However, like if you're a fresh NC player, the Promise is good, but like when you get better, you'll just move on to the Anchor or the Gassa or yeah, whatever basically. MSVR is S tier. It's the CQC LMG for the Terran Republic, 750, 143. The recoil is fucking horrendous, but so is with most TR weapons, but that's just a skill issue. Very good for close range. You can basically hip fire the shit out of people. It's just S tier. you already know that. Is this the Gassa? The Gassa is S tier. It's the 200 500 LMG. It fucks people up if you can hit headshots. It's a 3 headshot kill to fuck all meters. It's before it got nerfed, it was a 3-shot headshot at all ranges because its lowest damage was 167. Now I think they've changed it to 143, so it's a 4 headshot kill outside I don't know how many meters. However, it's still a fantastic gun. If you know how to use this thing, you're actually unstoppable. Some might argue it's the best LMG in the whole game. Personally, I've Araxiumed it. It was a joy to Araxium, but it does demand a very much skill from the user. Very punishing reload, very punishing if you miss, very punishing if you don't hit your head, or not your head, but you know, the enemy's head, whatever. But very good LMG. It's good if you don't have skill issues. If you think the Gassa is bad, you have skill issues. Uninstall. The Saw S, before it got changed, it was a 577 167, I believe, gun, just like the GD22. But after Arsenal, I believe, they changed it to 467, I think, 476, something like that. 200, just like the NC9A Tross, the assault rifle, and basically this is just a saw, a modified saw. The thing is, I don't know where to put this because you just use a saw. This does have a lower fire rate, but doesn't feel like the fire rate is like 30 rounds less, so it doesn't feel more controllable at all. It just feels like a saw, to be honest. But it's still good. It's still like the 200 damage LMG, so it deserved its spot in B tier. Before nerf, it would definitely be like C, B, but like it's B. It's a good LMG. It's a 200 damage LMG. You can't really go wrong with it. It's fine for like Araxium if you want to go for the God Saw, but like I wouldn't main it. Like just main the God Saw, bro. The Naginata is our first D tier weapon. So basically, it's 659 143, just like the EM1. It has this gimmick that when you stand still, it doesn't bloom. However, you don't stand still because you'll get domed in the head by a good player. Like you gotta strafe when you shoot. You can't just stand still like a vegetable because you'll get fucked. So its gimmick is just basically non-existent, and it has quite a long reload, and it's just And Naginata is, I'd say, for an Araxium, if you're on VS, like if you've got to choose like the fucking Polaris or whatever, the Naginata is fine. But if you're on NC, just stay away from this. You have absolutely no reason to use this. If you use this on NC, you should uninstall. The NS15 is S tier. It has piss poor damage output at like 625 143. It's the slowest I think it's the slowest killing infantry weapon in the game, aside from like the fucking Tanto. But it's basically the slowest killing LMG in the game, if you count body shots. But however, just like the most common pull NS weapons, it has bad damage output, but it makes up for it with basically everything else. It has 55 rounds in the mag. It reloads faster than you come on a Friday night. It has good recoil. It has 0.75 ADS. It's just good, and the 0.75 is really what makes this gun, because you can strafe. If you're a heavy and you can strafe that fast, it's very hard to hit you, because you won't expect it from another player that a heavy would strafe this fast. But you have, if you use the NS15, as I said, this is from the perspective of a player that actually knows what they're doing. And NS15 in the hands of a new player is D tier, it's shit. But you have to hit your heads. If you can hit heads reliably, the NS15 is S tier. It's very, very, very strong. But like, if you were a worse player, like a fresh new player, I wouldn't recommend this gun at all. Definitely not. It would be like D tier, because the damage output is so poor. However, if you're a good player, it's S. The Orion is S tier. Hold on. 750, 143. It's basically a copy paste of the MSWR, but with better recoil. It's the standard issue LMG for the VS. Very good. It's a close range LMG. You'll see the pattern, like all close range LMGs, the Anchor, the MSWR, the Orion are all S tier. Good hip fire, good for close range, very good. The Pulsar LSW is basically a laser beam, 698, 143. Shit, it's basically the Promise, but not as weird as the Promise. It has 75 rounds in the mag, I believe. It's this is the thing. It's between C and B. I mean, it's definitely better than the EM1. And yeah, actually, you know what? It deserves its B spot. It's good if you can dome heads. And it has basically no recoil. A good reload speed. It's good. I wouldn't main this. Just use the Orion instead. But like for it's fine. And for Beetlejuice, it's basically a must. It's good. It's not very good, it's not bad, but it's good. It's good. The SVA 88 is just a normal 659 143, I believe, LMG. It was years since I played with these Vanu LMGs, especially. If I get something wrong, I apologize in advance. But I think this is C tier. I believe when the game released, the SVA had a 0.75 movement speed multiplier, and that would like send it straight to S tier, because it basically would be a superior version of the NS15. But now it's just a inferior version of the NS15, basically. It's basically a copy paste of the EM1. It doesn't have much going for it, actually. It's fine if you want to go for Beetlejuice, basically a must, because all other Vanu LMGs are just boring, except for the Maw, which we'll get to later. But it's fine. It's not bad, it's not good, it's okay, basically. Oh, I'm getting real tired of these. The Rhino is basically, these three are basically the same. The Rhino has, I think it has 100 rounds in the mag. It's fast reload, so it basically it's a bit better, and it's okay for point holding if you want to slap extended mag and have a 200 damage, 200 round LMG. It's good, but the damage output is not great. They're okay. These three, they're okay. Now, some of you that are more seasoned would knows that the Bull actually has the same damage model as all these three, but I'm going to actually put the Bull in B tier, because the Bull has a faster reload than all these three, or especially the Rhino. It has 60 rounds in the mag. It has better hip fire. It has similar recoil, I think. It's just more tuned for close quarters, and as you know, the more close quarters tuned an LMG is, honestly, the better it is, because like 90% of all your engagement in this game are going to be like sub 20 meters. So it's B tier. It's basically a sawed-off version of the Rhino, which makes it a bit better. It's definitely like the bottom of B tier. It's not as good as the Promise is. It's not as good as the Saw S, but it's B tier. It's better than all these three, definitely. The Carve S is the S version of the Carve. It's the 698 143. This one is B tier as well. 698, it's basically the same as the Promise and the Pulsar LSW. I think it has a bit worse recoil than Pulsar W. I Axiom this one. It's alright, it works, basically. It has okay damage output. You can slap extended mags on it for like 150, I believe, bullets. It sounds great. It feels alright. It's a bit jumpy, just like the Carve. But it's good. And as you know, you wouldn't main this, just use the Carve instead, but if you're going for Butcher, this is an okay choice, the Carve S. The Carve is A tier, it's the first A tier gun on this list. So, this is the thing. The Carve is a 750 143, just like the MSWR. The thing is, the Carve has 100 rounds in the mag instead of 50. Its recoil is very, very jumpy. Basically, if you want to hit something outside of 25-30 meters, you just have to put the forward grip on. Even with a laser, its hip fire is meh. It's not good at all. But it does shred people with its 100 round mag, and for point hold situations, it's very good. So I'd actually. It's not S tier by any means. It's clunkiness. Basically, it's a long reload as well. Very, very long reload. It puts in A tier. It's still a very good gun. You can shred people with it. But it's definitely not S. It's better than all the B tier weapons, though. The TMG 50 is the Term Republic's 167 LMG. It is yeah, it's B tier, definitely. So basically, it has the same damage model as the GD22S. It's 557 163. It looks cool as shit. It sounds cool as shit. It's good if you can click heads, but so are all the other LMGs. If you want a heavier hitting LMG for the TR, that's good. You could actually main this on tier because it's the only 167 LMG. But honestly, like, the damage output is a bit poor. If you want a long range LMG for the TR, I'd actually just recommend the Bull, because the Bull has no recoil and it's also good hip fire. Because the hip fire on the TMG 50 is abysmal. Also, you can't hip fire because of the 577 damage or 577 fire rate. It becomes like it's niche for mid range. It's good at mid range, but then it's just it's a good weapon though, by all means. You can't say it's bad. It's better than these three, but it's basically worse than every single one of these up here. It's basically on par with the Carve S, I'd say. It depends on what you like. Personally, I feel more comfortable with the 143. I'm a 143 enjoyer, but I can see why people would choose the TMG 50 over the Carve S. The Ursa is shit. It's C tier. It's a 550 177. Sorry, it's a 550 167 damage LMG. The thing with the Ursa is, it's basically a downgraded version of the Flare. Why do you use the Ursa? Oh, it's a 167 damage LMG for the VS. Well, it's the Flare is too. Oh, but the Ursa has good velocity. Well, the Flare does too. Oh, but the Ursa is a laser beam and has no recoil. The Flare does too. It has this. I think it has the same magazine size as the flare. Like the flare just fires faster and does everything that the Ursa does, but it's basically the mercenary bandit syndrome. So there is absolutely no reason to pick the Ursa over the flare. However, the Ursa, you can make it work for the Beetlejuice because it's a 167 LMG and it's a laser beam, so you can actually make it work. It's not a bad weapon, it's an okay weapon. I put it in C because the flare just basically overshadows it. The Maw is A tier. It's a 600 167 damage LMG. And hold on, I gotta drink some water. Y'all are making me tired. That's, as we said, that's a good damage model. Some of you might remember that the EM6 has the same damage model and fire rate as the Maw. Why I put the Maw higher is because of its hip fire. The Maw's hip fire is very, very good. So it's basically a close range LMG. It's basically the VS equivalent of the Anchor, but a little bit shittier. So that's why it's in A. The recoil is kind of jumpy, and it does have access to the shitter ammo, which makes your bullets. You basically don't have to hit your target to hit it, if you get what I mean. It's what, lasher ammo or something like that, some shit. It's a very good weapon actually. It is very respectable. It's a must if you're going for the Beetlejuice. It's one of the better LMGs. This and the Orion are basically the two only LMGs worth using for the VS. If you don't count the Beetlejuice, of course. The Polaris is, oh my god, the VS are so boring. The Polaris is a 659 143 damage, just like the SVA 88. I believe the Polaris has a 100 round mag though, and I think its hip fire is actually pretty good. So it's basically better than the SVA, but still C tier. It's still an alright weapon. You can do it if you want to go for a Beetlejuice. Its hip fire is actually quite a nice perk though. It's kind of slept upon, honestly. It has a good hip fire, but like its damage output is so low, so you could just go a bit lower on the damage output to the NS11 or NS15. I'm sorry, and get a lot more benefits. But it's fine if you want to do the Beetlejuice. I did this one for the Beetlejuice like 5 years ago, and it was alright. So now we do have the directive LMGs, and this is gonna hurt me a bit. Beetlejuice is S tier, of course. It's a good farming tool. It's based off the already very good Orion. It has unlimited ammo, and if you time your shots, you never have to reload basically. And we have the Butcher. The Butcher is A tier. Just like the Carve, it's actually the top of A tier. It's better than the Carve. It has more rounds in the magazine. It has a bit. It's 769 where 143 instead of 750, so it fires a bit faster. It's not noticeable though. It shreds people. It's a very, very, very good LMG. It's not S tier though. Just like the Carve, it's not S tier because it's too shaky. It's just, yeah, no. The God Saw is S tier, based off of the already S tier Gauss Saw. It has a bit smaller magazine, a bit faster reload, and it has a special ammo type when so you can damage like vehicles and aircraft with your bullets. It's not actually very good, but it's still funny that you have it. It's good. It can be good in groups. So yeah. That's the tier list. It kind of hurt me that the Butcher is in S tier, but even my TR bias says that the Butcher is in S tier. It's definitely still worth going for. It's a good LMG, it's just not S tier. So yeah, that's my LMG tier list. So, fuck off.